Welcome back, everyone, into the GCM mock draft. Joining me for maybe the third year in a row, Omari Sankofa the second. Welcome back. Thank you for giving me your time. How's Detroit treating you?
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me on again. Detroit's good. It's an exciting week with Monty Williams. Just got hired a couple of days ago, so I think people are excited. And then you have the draft in, I believe, 20 days from the day we're recording. So definitely like peak off-season vibes over here. So it's been fun.
You said Monty Williams got hired. Monty Williams got the bag. It's going to be so fun. Yeah. And I know if you're in Memphis, you've watched the Bally commercials. Detroit's going to be so good this year, but they're going to be, we just talked about this, like so fun this year. A brand new coach, kind of like fresh start. Cade will be back, and Detroit has the number 5 pick in the draft. So before I actually put you on the clock, Omari, tell me first, obviously there's room to improve, right? 17 wins last season. There's room to improve. Cade will improve that. But what is Detroit missing? Like, what is it that's like that puzzle piece that you can get at that number 5 spot? You need a guard, a wing, a big. What do we got going on?
They really need a big defensive-minded wing. You look at their roster, and I mean, they've added 3 top 7 picks to address their backcourt over the last few years. And then you had Jalen Duren last year. I know, Memphis are familiar with him, obviously. And you trade for James Wiseman, another guy Memphis fans are familiar with. You have Isaiah Stewart up there. So they have a lot of pieces, a lot of young pieces in their front court and backcourt, but they traded Sadiq Bey, and they're just really kind of missing like that big-bodied wing who can handle certain defensive matchups and ideally knock down threes as well. So even in the draft for free agency, I figure they'll definitely use a pretty big resource, whether it's that 5th pick or the cap space that they have, to just get somebody in who can kind of play that 2 through 4 range and take on the Jason Tatums or whoever else in the league that you have to match up against these days.
For sure. So give me an example. Okay, so I'm talking draft wise. Give me an example. If you could take an NBA player right now and say, we want this skill set with this number 5 pick, you would choose like who? Like a big,
honestly, just like a former Piston, but like Jeremy Grant. It's funny because they traded him last year, and then a year later he's like exactly what they need. But he's 6'9", athletic, good defender. I think he shot 38 or 39% from 3 last season, and he can make plays with the ball in his hand as well. And that's really what they need, just to take defensive pressure really off of Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey. You have Isaiah Stewart, like he could defend some bigger wings, and you have Isaiah Livers. So they have some guys who could do that, but like a Jeremy Grant would fit perfectly for this team. Where, I could even throw out like other names, like a Grant Williams would be really good for this team. Pretty much any guy kind of in that 6'6" to 6'9" range who can defend multiple spots would fit really well for him.
All right, then let's put you on the clock. Let's get right to it. There are a number of names. I can count 3-ish that I think could go 5th. Again, I keep saying this, but I think 1, 2, 3 were kind of locked. 4, I kind of like had an idea. You could pull a name out of your hat right now that I don't know, but there's 3 that I'm thinking of. So I'm going to put you on the clock. Omari, you are drafting for the Pistons.
I'm going to go with Cam Whitmore. And there's a few guys, as you mentioned, that could go there. You could go Jarris Walker or Anthony Black, Sar Thompson. But I'm going to go Cam Whitmore out of Villanova. He was a good knockdown shooter. He's 6'6", decent wingspan, extremely strong, athletic. Younger player in the draft, still has some, skill development in front of him, just like any player picking at 5 this year. But long term, that's probably a player who has a great chance to check the boxes you need.
For sure. I mean, he's a forward, which is exactly what you're talking about. And he does project, like, I don't know if he was like the best defender at Villanova, but he projects well to be a really good defender. And if you bring him into a young roster like this and you say, hey, we want you to shoot, improve on your shooting a little bit. And then 2, we need you to be that defender. Like a guy like Cam, I think has the potential to be a really good defender if he puts his mind to it and knows like that's part of his role on the Pistons.
Absolutely. And I think how young he is too. He'll still be 18 years old on draft night. So, which is so young. And you just look long term, a guy like that you kind of mold him. He still has a lot of growth, obviously, in front of him. And he wasn't a bad defender. It's just he was not the most locked in defender, but you could fix that. You could coach the guy up and get him locked in on that end. And he did create a lot of turnovers. So clearly he's trying to apply himself on that end already. So then that knockdown shooter, I mean, I think he shot 38, 39%, just some pure catch and shoot threes. Jaden, they'll generate a lot of good opportunities for him. So long term, like just 3-and-D, floor, and then the athleticism, you hope that he could eventually get to an even higher tier by the time he gets to year 3 or year 4.
Perfect. I guess so my last question, if the Pistons went with Cam Whitmore, and because he is so young and because kind of the other big guys on Detroit are young as well, how important is it to also use that cap space to get a veteran on this team?
I think it's pretty important. I mean, they've added, I think, 6 first-round picks since Troy Weaver took over 3 years ago, and you got some second-round picks in there, and then you traded for other young guys like Hamidou Diallo and James Wiseman. So, it seems has a lot of youth. You have some veterans, Alec Burke, Bojan Bogdanovic, but you do need probably one more adult in the room who can just kind of keep everything together, show the young guys what they need to do. Young teams, it's fun, but sometimes they do stumble, and you do need people who have been around the block and can point guys where they go and just teach them what the grind is like. So I do expect that more than likely whoever they pursue in free agency will be a veteran who could come in and play immediately, and they won't have to coach them up too much.
Beautiful. Omari, thank you so much. Once again, you're awesome. It's going to be fun to watch Detroit this year. A good young team with a new coach. I love to see it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks again for having me, Kelcey.